1 2 1 2. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the final time this season here in Tier 1 for the GT3 Championship on the PlayStation 5 Automotive. As we were earlier on, we were at Indianapolis, the Brickyard, for the final round of the season. We had an unbelievable Tier 2 race, and action-packed from start to finish, really. And hoping for more of the same here for the Tier 1s. Tier 1 Championship has already been wrapped up in the favour of Tinus in the house, who secured it with a P2 last week at Silverstone. The first race actually this season that he hasn't won. Took 6 out of 6 for the first 6 races of the season, and then last week got pipped to the win by his old foe Jazzman, who jumped in as a reserve for the first time this season and took the win. So Jazzman proving to be a party pooper for Tinus's hopes of taking a clean sweep of race wins here this season. But nonetheless, he's wrapped up the championship as Tinus in the house, so big congratulations to him, because I didn't actually realise that at the time last week. So I want to just give him a bit of a late congratulations there. So well done, Tinus. Well done. Brilliant job. Fantastic. Excellent. So yeah, tonight we've got Jazzman and Tinus doing their traditional, what has become a bit of a tradition really. These two, they do like to round off the season by doing a last to first challenge. So that's what we got this time around, as we had in Season 1 for the PlayStation 5, where we saw both of these two. They were actually both the championship contenders, and they both did a last to first challenge to give us a bit of entertainment, because I remember that season quite well. We were running on the bonnet cameras for every single round, because ACC had basically had a spectator mode which didn't work, so we essentially had to run on bonnet cameras throughout the entire pack. So we didn't have this nice little broadcast suite that we've got nowadays, which is always very nice to watch. It's very pleasant to view, but when you're running on everybody's bonnet cameras, it's not the most exciting stream, it has to be said. But we made the best of it. We made use of what we had at our disposal, and obviously it was Jazzman who took that first season on the PlayStation 5, was the first ever PS5 GT3 champion at Motive. We've now had 3 more seasons, 4 together. Jazzman taking the first season. PS Vids was the champion of Season 2. Jazzman then regained his title in Season 3, and Tinus in the house taking Season 4. He's already wrapped up this season for Season 4. Next season in Season 5, could we see Jazzman taking his 3rd championship, or can Tinus take his 2nd? Can PS Vids take his 2nd? That's what we'll find out next season. But here we are for the final round of this season. We've got Ludo lining up on pole position ahead of Awesome Gumball, who'll be in 2nd. PS Vids 3rd ahead of Guido Chris, followed by Andrew, with Henry in 6th ahead of Robe. Then you've got Kevsim. Oh my god, why have we got this hideous view? Get this off my screen now. But yeah, basically we're about to go racing here for the final time this season, as we're coming through in towards the final chicane. I've got to apologise to everybody tonight for the slightly below par commentary. Unfortunately, I'm extremely tired and I'm suffering from a huge accumulation of sleep deprivation, which is caused by chronic stress and inability to switch off my brain. So yeah, I do apologise for that, but nonetheless, due to my inability to switch off my brain, it actually means that I'm able to keep up some kind of solidly adequate level of commentary. So that's what I'll be providing for you here tonight. But here we are anyway, coming through the final corner, as we are moments away from the start of the Tier 1 race here at Indianapolis for the final round of Season 4 here at Motive. As here we come up towards the line here, and with double file as we're getting almost underway here. Who's going to get the best start off the line? Awesome Gumball lining up on the front row here alongside Ludo. Can Ludo get a win? He's been very close to Tinus on a couple of occasions this season. Is tonight going to be the night where we see him finally get a race win on the board? Here we come, down towards turn 1 we go. It's Ludo there down the middle. You can see on the outside you've got the Audi of Awesome Gumball having a look here, and he's actually got around him here is Awesome Gumball. So Awesome Gumball swoops round into the lead there, as Ludo there in 2nd place. Who's in 3rd? PS Vids there holding on ahead of Henry. All bit of contact there between PS Vids and Henry, and in the background that's Andrew there losing it, and he's got into the side of LOL 3000 as well. So both of those guys there dropping down the order, but it's Ludo leading by ahead of Awesome Gumball, followed by PS Vids, and then you've got Guido Chris there, who I think has made his way up into 4th place here ahead of Henry. Is it? Did Henry hold on to his car? No, yes he did. So Henry there managed to keep onto it despite losing it and going into the side there of a very unfortunate Andrew and Lowell 3000. Both of those two have dropped down the order a little bit, but it's Awesome Gumball who now leads. So Ludo there's lost out to Awesome Gumball. Didn't see what happened there. He's obviously dropped it there coming to the first sector. You've got Gidacris there around the outside there of Ludo. Can he get this move done? I think he is going to get this one done. PS Vids, where's PS Vids in all of this? He's on the inside of these guys. He's just behind them at the moment, but Ludo there is currently still trying to keep Gidacris behind him at the moment. He's managed to do so, but it's Awesome Gumball leading as we're coming through towards the end of the first lap here. So Awesome Gumball leading a race for the first time in quite a long time here, to be honest. I can't think the last time I saw him win a race here. So a big opportunity for him tonight. You've got Ludo with Gidacris and Robe there in the background ahead of High Grade. Tynus there running in P6 already. What? He started in P16. Come on, Tynus, give somebody else a chance, man. Come on. Jazzman running in 11th place. He's had a very strong start as well, but nothing on Tynus, who has gone from 16th up into 6th place. So he's gained 10 places in one lap. That's just ridiculous. Come on, man. Calm down. But Ludo here has got Gidacris all over the back of him coming down towards turn 1. And here goes Gidacris looking to the inside. Is he going to be able to make a move here? He's too far back for the time being as they come into the braking zone. They've got Roby there in 4th ahead of High Grade, followed by Tynus. And you've got Henry there on the back of Tynus there, with Epiphany running in 8th place ahead of Glenn. There's Yellow Army who's got Jazzman looking to his inside coming into turn 1. Jazzman down the inside. He gets it done there up into P10. Beautifully done there from him. As in the background we've got Andrew there down the inside of Scuderia Paul, and he gets the move done there into turn 2. Oh, contact between Paul and Andrew spins around there onto the grass, and Scuderia Paul, I think, very sportsmanlike there. He's waiting, isn't he? Or is he not? Maybe not, actually, maybe not. Sorry, eat my words there, he didn't. But yeah, Andrew down to the back. And PS Vids, what has happened to PS Vids? Because this man here, I tell you what, if he didn't have bad luck, he would have no luck at all. He seems that this season has gone just every single race, barring Donington, where he drove an absolute cracker, P2 at Donington. He seems to have been caught up in other people's accidents non-stop this season. And you've got to feel for him, really. Our Season 2 champion. Season 4 has not gone to plan at all for him. And he'll be hoping that Season 5 goes a bit more like Season 2 did. But currently Awesome Gumball leading here, coming towards the end of lap 2. You've got Ludo there running in 2nd place ahead of Gidacris, with Robe there running in P4 at the moment. Bit of a gap back to High Grade, who's now got Tynus reeling him in there. Henry there running in P7 ahead of Epiphany, as Jazzman's made his way up into 9th place and is now on the back of a battle. In fact, no, he's at the front of that battle. Oh, as Glenn there goes wide and takes some of the polystyrene there with him, and he's going to I think he's lost out there to Kev Sims. Kev Sims got ahead of him? I think he has, yeah. Kev Sims up into P10, so Glenn there down to 11th place as he went a bit wide there going through the chicane. So not the situation that I'm sure he would have been wanting at that particular moment in time. So Glenn there down to 11th place. We watch them all coming down the start finish straight, as you've got Yellow Army who's got Kangi and PS Vids on the back of him here as they're coming down towards turn 1. PS Vids having a little look to the inside of Kangi, but too far back just at the moment, and he's not going to make a move from there, not in a month of Sundays. Obviously, seeing as every single GT3 championship race here is on a Sunday, I suppose you've got quite a good chance. But Gidacris there still on the back of Ludo, and these guys are dropping off at the back of Awesome Gumball, who does seem to have to pace over these guys at this stage anyway. Wonder if he's half tanking it, that could potentially be advantageous for him at this stage, but well, it could be advantageous for him altogether, because it did look like the tyre change strategy was the strategy to be on earlier on. As we saw Tony Zero get overhauled by Codlungu in the closing stages of the Tier 2 race a little while ago. But nonetheless, we see Ludo and Gidacris still running quite close here in 2nd and 3rd place. Just under a second here between those two. Also noticing Glenn and Yellow Army still running within each other quite close at this point. Although saying that, looks like Yellow Army's got ahead of Glenn, so he's up into 11th place there. So he must have made the move since the previous checkpoint there. Glenn there getting it a bit out of shape. He's now got Kangi on the back of him as well, so Kangi looking to try and capitalise here on Glenn. Just seemingly a bit out of shape at this point. As who is this getting into the mix? It's PS Vids there, who's trying to run outside of Kangi. Contact there between Kangi and PS Vids, and PS Vids there into the polystyrene there, coming through the chicane. He'll have damage on the front of the car as well. That's going to only compound matters there for PS Vids. Where's Kangi ended up in all of this? Kangi is coming into the pits now, so Kangi obviously feeling that the damage is a bit too much to continue on his way, so he's now coming in. Glenn able to continue on his way for the time being. He's got PS Vids about a second or so behind him at this stage. You've got Scuderia Paul and Lowell 3000 running there in the background, just coming down the start finish straight at this point. But Awesome Gumball still leading the race right now by about 2.6 seconds right now ahead of Ludo, with Gidacris on the back of him at this stage. High Grade's got Tynus now reeling him in. He's all over the back of him here as they're coming through the S's out onto the back straight here. And Tynus will be surely looking to try and get a bit of a run here and maybe get him down the end of the straight into the left-hander. You can see here he's going to have the slipstream here. Tynus in the house, our champion already of this season. Wrapped up the title with a round to spare last week at Silverstone. As we come through this section, he's currently still tucking in behind High Grade for the time being. Enemy there running in 7th place, not too far from the back of these guys. Potentially hoping to try and gain if these two hold each other up. But High Grade here doing a good job of keeping Tynus at bay for the time being. Ludo still running in 2nd place, but Chris trying to put the pressure on him. These guys keeping the gap to Awesome Gumball at around the same. Awesome Gumball's not really putting away from these guys at this stage. So we've got 10 of you currently watching the stream here. Guys, please do smash the like button if you're enjoying what you're watching. Show your appreciation for these Tier 1 drivers out on track, because they're putting on a great show here tonight for us, live on the Motive Racing YouTube channel. As we can see High Grade and Tynus here coming over the line to start their 5th laps of the race. Now, can Tynus get enough for a run here to look to the inside into turn 1? He doesn't look like he's throwing a feint. No, he is throwing a little feint, but he's not close enough to really go for a lunge. In the background here, Jazzman all over the back of Epiphany into turn 1. Epiphany defends the inside line. Jazzman can't get it done. Can he go for a cutback into turn 2? No, can't do that one either. And Epiphany for the time being holding on there, but Jazzman looked a little bit closer there to the back of him into that section as Shelton there, Adam Shelton there saying unlucky Andrew. Obviously Andrew out of the race early on here in this run, retired from the session on the first lap, as Jazzman's got a run here on Epiphany and he gets the move done, pushed him a little bit wide there for good measure, but Jazzman through turn 5 is up into 8th place. He finally gets that manoeuvre done and dusted there. In the meantime, Jazzman's good friend Tynus is all over the back of High Grade here. He's been on the back of him now for a couple of the laps here, looking to the outside. Can he go late on the brakes and hold it around the outside here? High Grade trying to keep himself there. Tynus though is going to have the move done surely into this next right-hander. They're still side by side, and High Grade's not giving this one up easily, but he's going to have to give this one up because Tynus is going to have the inside for this next right-hander coming out onto the oval section, and Tynus there finally up into P5. So Tynus and Jazzman both making a position gain each here on lap 5 of the race, and now Henry's going to be on the back of High Grade as well here. But the important news for Tynus is that he's up into P5 and can now try and chase down the leaders here. He's about 10 seconds, maybe about 13-14 seconds off in the lead at this point, and has got a lot of work to do if he wants to win this final race of the season. But Awesome Gumball still leading as Guido Christ looking to the inside on Ludo into turn 1. Is he going to be able to go for it? He's sending one down the inside here. It's Guido Christ, but he goes a little bit deep there, and that's going to give Ludo the run here into turn 2, and Ludo keeps on to P2. But Guido Christ just sensed an opportunity and almost had it, but couldn't quite make it stick there. As Henry here putting some pressure on the back of High Grade coming through turn 2. But Tynus seems to be pulling away just a little bit from these guys at this point, having got the move done there on High Grade on that previous lap. Scuderia Paul's got Lowell 3000 all over the back of him as they're coming down towards turn 1. As here we go, Lowell 3000 has to back out of it, not close enough there into turn 1. Udo and Guido Chris still running quite close here in 2nd and 3rd places. Andrew in the comments says 2 people go off and hit me and then took out again. Like, really? But yeah, currently Guido Chris still all over the back of Ludo at this stage in the race. So here we come into the final section here. Guido Chris having a little feint to the inside there into the chicane, but just not close enough at this point. High Grade's got Henry still within a second of him at this point. But Ludo and Guido Christ here coming out onto the start-finish straight once again here to start lap 7 of the race. And 11 of you currently watching here live on YouTube right now. Guido Christ looking to the inside here on Ludo. Is going to get the move done here into turn 1. He is going to go for it, but Ludo's going to keep the momentum there around the outside and just holds on there for P2. But Guido Christ going for a cutback, still can't do it. Ludo's doing everything right, parking his car in all the right places at the moment, and Guido Christ can't seem to find a way through. High Grade still running just ahead of Henry in this battle for 6th place. Jazzman's only 2 seconds behind these guys. They're now losing time to Tynus as well, who seems to be skipping away into the distance. Tynus is currently 6 seconds behind Robio, so he's got a long way to go until he gets to the front runners. but Henry still trying to put the pressure here on high grade. Guido Cristo still all over the back of Ludo as they're coming down the back straight. As here we go, he's got a bit of a run now as Guido Cristo. Is he going to be able to keep this one around the outside? Ludo parking his car on the inside, goes late when the brakes there, does Ludo, and keeps it there. But I think that Guido Cristo might be able to get around the outside. No, still nothing doing here for Guido Cristo. Robe, they're putting up onto the back of these guys as well now, so Robe looking to be interested in this battle here and potentially in with a chance of getting himself onto the podium here. We don't know what fuel strategies people are on either, so this could pay massive dividends for guys who are maybe full tanking it. Oh, it's Ludo there deep coming into the first part of the chicane as Guido Cristo now looking to the outside, but Ludo there covering him off there on the exit. And Ludo still clinging on to this second place, but for how much longer is he going to be able to weather this storm? As Guido Cristo getting a decent run out to the start finish straight. Ludo just keeping out of the wall there, but Guido now well alongside him here, coming over the line to complete lap 7 of the race. Here we come down towards turn 1 once again. Guido Cristo on the inside here. Surely he's going to make this move into turn 1. Ludo trying to hold it around the outside and just keeps ahead there by the skin of his teeth. But Guido Cristo just go to the inside once again here on Ludo, and he's got the move done there on him. So Ludo they're getting it a bit wrong coming through the first section of the lap there, and Robe follows him through as well. So Ludo losing 2 places there to Guido Cristo and Robe, and Guido Cristo up into second place. Robe now into third, and Ludo with a bit of damage there on the rear of the car as well, I'm noticing. So did he get a bit of a tap there from behind maybe? But Tynus is going to be coming up on the scene as well. Tynus very wide there, coming out onto the back straight, which would have lost him a bit of time here. Maybe a bit of suspension damage potentially. Not sure. As Henry's now got Jazzman all over the back of him as they're coming down to the end of the back straight as well. I have a feeling that Jazzman might be coming through on the start finish straight this time around. But Guido Cristo now running in second place, having got ahead of Ludo. Ludo losing out to both Guido Cristo and Robe at the beginning of this lap. Jazzman all over the back of Henry as they're coming into the chicane, so that'll be one to watch as they're coming down the start finish straight, because I have a feeling that Jazzman may be coming through on this next lap. In the meantime, that is Henry with Jazzman on the back of him here coming over the line. But Jazzman just seems a little bit too far back just at the moment, and Henry has got a reasonable gap here into turn 1, seems reasonably comfortable at this point. Noticing the timing board that PS Vids is trying to pick up another place here, picking up Kessim, and Kessim goes very deep there, and PS Vids getting a better run there coming out of turn 3. PS Vids there up into P10, so he's continuing to make gains through this pack after a difficult start to the race. Obviously PS Vids, you know, we said earlier on if he didn't have bad luck he would have no luck, and I guess if you've got to take bad luck over no luck, I suppose you kind of got to really, but PS Vids there up into P10 nonetheless. Here we go, side by side here between Tynus and Kangi. So Tynus putting a lap there on Kangi, and through he goes, no dramas there. Henry's still keeping Jazzman at bay at the moment as well, so Henry more than a match for Jazzman's pace. Is Jazzman just struggling down the straights? Has he gone for a bit more of a downforcey setup in comparison to Henry? Whatever the case, Henry's currently holding his own quite comfortably here, ahead of our 5-time champion here at Motive, obviously a 2-time champion of this GT3 championship on a Sunday on the PS5. Awesome Gumball in the meantime still leading the race, and he's got a comfortable gap here out the front of over 7 seconds over Guido Chris. Guido Chris is gapping Robert a little bit. It's now 2 seconds between those two. Titus now within 10 seconds of the lead. How much pace is he going to have over the leaders? How much is he going to be able to gain? Can he still win this race here tonight? Jazzman still struggling to clear the Audi of Henry, which has been the thorn in his side for a number of laps here in this in this race.
Will you get your stuff out of the wardrobe in the morning?
Yeah.
Pants, socks, and another green shirt.
Yeah.
And are you at work tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh. I'm closing, aren't I?
Huh?
I'm closing, I said.
How would I?
Here we come then. Jazzman still on the back of Henry as they're coming over the line here to start lap 12, but still can't seem to find a way through at this point. Henry's just been resolutely parking his car in the right places.
Would you like to try those 2 pairs of trousers on? Which I took the time and trouble to look through and find to see if they would fit you.
Igrade's still on the back of Epiphany right now. You can see these guys separated by 0.6 per second. Kev Sims coming into the pits at the end of lap 11.
I can't tell what you're saying.
Yellow Army's still on the back of Glenn as well, as these guys are battling coming into turn 1 here. As they're starting their 12 laps of the race.
I don't know what the hell you're saying.
Oh. But Jazzman's still trying to put the pressure here on Henry. These guys coming into the final chicane. Here we are on lap. It's coming towards the end of lap 12, and it's still Henry doing a great job here of keeping Jazzman at bay. Epiphany's doing a good job of keeping High Grade behind him though, as well. And Yellow Army still can't. Well, has he got ahead of him? No, he hasn't. He's still
damn
behind
well
him.
I haven't got a clue what you're saying, and I'm not even going to try it.
We can see Henry and Jazzman. They just put a lap there on Kangi, so Kangi's moved off to the side and let those two go through. And High Grade still can't find a way through ahead of Epiphany. Gap actually between Awesome Gumball and Guido Christ has come down a bit, so Guido Christ is actually getting his pace down now really quite well. Gap's now under 6 seconds here.
Is this your commentary though?
Yes, I'm commentating live on a race which is right in front of me. Awesome Gumball here. I don't know if he's made a mistake in the last couple of laps, but he is now falling back into the clutches of Guido Christ a little bit here. So yeah, it could potentially be a chance here for Guido Christ. Maybe get a race win here at the end of the season with Tynus starting so far down. Obviously Guido Christ is 7 seconds ahead of Tynus. I mean, Awesome Gumball is 12 seconds ahead of him, so it should be a huge chance for Awesome Gumball to get a win. Tynus is currently 2 seconds behind Robe. Jazzman nowhere to be seen, still struggling to clear Henry for 5th place. And not really showing any signs of putting any pressure on him at this point either. Henry's now putting a lap here on Scuderia Paul, and Paul there keeping well out of the way there for Henry, and Jazzman will be coming up on him in a moment's time as well. Epiphany's still got high grade all over him here as they're coming down towards turn 1, but high grade just a little bit too far back here to be able to put him under any real pressure. PS Fit is closing on both of these two there in P9, so he'll be looking to try and knock on the door of a potential 7th place here quite soon, you would think. As Yellow Army, Glenn and Ludo here are battling over 11th, 12th and 13th places, but Ludo has obviously already been for his mandatory pit. Oh, as Glenn goes deep, and that's going to give Ludo the position there up into P12. Easy pickings there for Ludo. But as I said, Ludo's already been in for his mandatory pit stop, so he will be hoping he'd be wanting to waste minimal time here behind Yellow Army, that's for sure.
Right, now where are your things? Indeed.
Oh, High Grade's got ahead of Epiphany. What's happened to Epiphany? Oh, Epiphany's made a mistake. Something's happened to Epiphany.
What?
Oh, Epiphany's dropped it somewhere. So High Grade up into P7. And now PS Vids has got himself up into 8. So Epiphany there with some kind of incident. I'm not quite sure what's happened to him here, but what a shame there for Epiphany. And he's now down to 9th place here in this race. As Henry's actually gapped Jazzman by just over a second. So Henry now looking more comfortable in that 5th place than he was before. PS Fit's coming into the pits here at the end of lap 14. And with the damage on his car, I'm sure that he'll probably be getting that fixed. Now, is he going to be changing tyres and putting fuel in the car? That's the question. Obviously, if he's half tanked, he'll be committed to topping up his fuel. But is he going to be changing tyres as well? Looks like he's been sat in the box now for more than 10 seconds, so I'd say he's definitely doing something to the car. So
Now, Una's going to be around
presumably putting
tomorrow.
tyres on, you would think. Okay. Guido Christ closing in on Awesome Gumball here, under 4 seconds now separating Awesome Gumball and Guido Christ. So Guido Christ continuing to bring that gap down to Awesome Gumball at quite a rate here. So any of you currently watching the stream, guys, smash the like button and show your appreciation for the drivers out on track, as they're putting on a great show here tonight. Guido Christ here could be in contention for the win here. Awesome Gumball obviously in the early stages was just extending his gap, but Guido Christ now has got the gap down to 3.1. In the background you've got Robe there running in 3rd place. Tynus closing in on Robe. As Jazzman's ahead of Henry, so he's finally made that move. Where he made it, I'm not quite sure. But Jazzman now in P5, so he's finally cleared the Audi of Henry and can now try and chase down the leaders here. So Jazzman up into 5th place. That's going to be crucial for his race because he was losing so much time to the leaders with being stuck behind Henry. As Jazzman there goes a little bit deep coming into that section. The last thing he wants now is to be overtaken by Henry when he's spent about 4 laps trying to get past him. But Henry trying to come back at Jazzman here. He's not giving up in this battle for P5, that's for sure. But Jazzman's got enough of a gap here coming into the braking zone at the end of the back straight to be comfortably ahead there and are under no real threat from Henry. Awesome Gumball though, still leading the race.
Yours that I got for you ages ago, okay?
Yes. That's correct, yes. Henry in the meantime is still within a second of Jazzman, so he's certainly not giving up here as they're coming out to the start-finish straight. They're about to complete their 16th laps of the race. The gap between Awesome Gumball and Guido Chris is now under 2 seconds here. So Guido Chris really is getting the pace down at this point. Could potentially be in with a shout here of a race win. He's pulling away from Robe at this point. Robe continuing to come under pressure here from Tynus. Keeping an eye on the gap between Tynus and Awesome Gumball. Tynus is also clearing an Awesome Gumball, so is Awesome Gumball now starting to make a few mistakes maybe? Potentially feeling the pressure out front, knows he's in the realistic shout of winning the race. But Guido Chris is gaining a huge amount on him at this stage as they're coming down this back straight. They've got a bit of traffic there in the foreground, you can see just going through the end of the left hand at the end of the straight. That's Glenn, I think. That very distinctive livery there of Glenn. So yeah, it's Captain ABB. Guido Chris' chance to take the lead here off Awesome Gumball maybe. You can see he's gaining huge amounts on him. I wonder if Awesome Gumball's got damage maybe. That could potentially be what's causing Guido Chris to gain so much time in him at this stage. And he's, in fact, that's the lap car of Glenn. They're moving out of the way of Awesome Gumball. But yeah, here they come through the final corner. And Guido Chris just trying to get closer to the back of him at this point. So here we come over the line here to start lap 18 of the race. Here we go then guys, battle for the lead here on lap 18 of this tier 1 race here at Motive for the final round of the season here for season 4. Currently Guido Chris is really putting this pressure here on Awesome Gumball. These guys are only 7 seconds clear of Robe, but Tynus is a little bit back of Robe right now as well. So Tynus can get ahead of Robe. He might have pace to chase after these two, especially if they're battling. It will slow him down no end, but Guido Chris here having little looks, getting closer and closer every single lap here to Awesome Gumball. Now Awesome Gumball though, might be a bit of change of tack for him obviously. Obviously he's been getting the hurry up in the last few laps, but maybe now he's just going to try and position his car in the way, try and defend it for everything he's got. Guido Chris here looking to the outside, coming to the final corner, goes a little bit wide there on the exit, but still in the slipstream here down the start finish straight. What's his straight line speed like? He's got good straight line speed, he'll have a chance here. Awesome Gumball is now going to have to defend to the middle. Now he's going to go back to the racing line. Guido Chris now looking to the inside. Late on the brakes there from Guido Chris into turn 1. Does he go deep? In fact, no, he doesn't go late on the brakes. In fact, it was Awesome Gumball letting off and letting him pass that made me think that he'd gone late on the brakes. He hadn't, and Guido Chris there takes the lead here on lap 19. Awesome Gumball there knew he didn't have the pace to defend and let him go there. So Guido Chris, now your new race leader here on lap 19 of this tier 1 finale here for season 4. And Guido Chris obviously has chased down his man Awesome Gumball, maybe knew that he didn't have any chance realistically of defending that, thought I might as well just let him past and take the good position that he's in right now. Take some really good points here in this final round. He's got a bit of a gap back to Robe, could potentially still be in with a shout of a podium here in this race. Tynus is all over the back of Robe, but still can't find a way through at the moment. These guys 5 seconds clear of Jazzman running in 5th place at this stage. Gertian asking in the comments, is the reason that Jazzman and Tynus aren't in the top 3 because they start last? Exactly that, yeah. They started in 16th and 17th at the time. We've lost one driver, so we're down to 16 drivers, but yeah, they were in 16th and 17th places at the start. Tyler's still trying to make a move here on Roby. Jazzman spent a few laps behind Henry. Henry's now coming to the pits, but Jazzman did get ahead of him before he came in, and yeah, that cost him quite a bit of time. Obviously, lost quite a lot of ground to Tynus. Tynus still now can't get ahead of Roby, so now it's kind of evening itself out a little bit here between Jazzman and Tynus. It seems to be quite a hard track to overtake, I've noticed. I mean, drivers like Jazzman and Tynus don't usually seem to struggle to overtake, but Jazzman spent about 5 or 6 laps behind Henry at one point, and yeah, it just doesn't seem to be an easy track to overtake at all. I know that the start finish straight obviously is a hot spot, but if you haven't got a quick car in a straight line, it actually proves to be a bit of a disadvantage, if anything. So yeah, in the infield section, not too easy to overtake, so it's proving to be almost quite processional in places at this point. But Tyler's still trying to get ahead of Roby if he can, coming out onto this back straight here. Roby still proving to be the thorn in the side here for our already champion of this season. As Tyler's now looking to the outside, Roby defending the inside line here, coming to the end of the back straight, but still nothing doing. No openings here forming for Tynus, looking to go for a cutback there. Roby getting it a bit wrong, and Tynus swoops around the outside there and did not need a second invitation. Tynus in the house moves himself through up into 3rd place. The opening presented itself, and Tynus fully went and took his opportunity there. Onto the podium he goes. Now he can focus his attention on Guido Christ, who's 8 seconds ahead of him, but first he'll have to negotiate Awesome Gumball. But Awesome Gumball's pace seems to be a bit down here. I'm not sure if he's got suspension damage maybe, because Guido Christ obviously closed up on him. Obviously Awesome Gumball had a good lead at the start, and then his pace seemed to suddenly drop off. Guido Christ caught up to him and passed him with relative ease. Awesome Gumball will retake the lead for the time being, because Guido Christ is coming into the pits here at the end of lap 21. So Awesome Gumball leading into turn 1, but Guido Christ, your net race leader. Tynus there just ahead of Roby as they're coming into turn 1 here to start lap 21 of the race. There's Jazzman in the background running in 4th place, about 3 seconds off of them right now. Guido Christ into the pits here at the end of lap 21. As we said before, Ludo, Kangi, PS Vids, Kev Sim, Glenn and Scuderia Paul have all been into the pits already here in this race. 13 of you currently watching here live on YouTube. Guys, if you're enjoying, please do smash the like button and show your appreciation for the drivers out on track, as Guido Christ and Epiphany into the pits. So Epiphany becomes the next driver to get his mandatory pit stop out of the way. Lots of drivers though, I think, are full tanking it here, because they've gone well beyond the halfway mark. Awesome Gumball, Tynus, Roby, Jazzman, High Grade. I think they're all full tanking it. I mean, it'd be silly to be changing tyres and fuel at this point, because you're well beyond the halfway point and you don't really reap the benefits of that strategy. There's your race leader currently, with the net race leader Guido Christ having already been into the pits. Awesome Gumball's currently about 5 seconds ahead of Tynus, so a bit less than that now. But Jazzman's reeling Roby in at this point. I think Tynus is keeping the gap to Jazzman about the same, but I reckon Tynus and Jazzman probably got the pace over Awesome Gumball. But then again, I suppose Guido Christ's pace was probably down to the fact that well, it could have been down to the fact that he was half tanking it. Although saying that, yeah, he would have been running on fumes by the time he came in, so that would have benefited him quite a bit. Ludo's actually come out ahead of Guido Christ, which is interesting, because Guido Christ was leading the race. Although, did Ludo not change tyres? We'll find out, because if Guido Christ is suddenly taking chunks out of him, then we'll know that he probably didn't. Well, actually, Ludo at this point is pulling away from Guido Christ, so maybe they both changed tyres. Maybe they both didn't. I mean, we'll find out once the rest of them come into the pits. But Awesome Gumball currently leading by 4 seconds, as I said, over Tynus. Roby there running in 3rd place with Jazzman not too far away. But Ludo and Guido Christ could be big players here in this battle for the race win, especially, well, I'd say both of them equally. In the meantime, PS Vid seems to be closing up on the back of Kangi a little bit. 3 seconds now between those two, so that could be one to watch quite soon. We see those two coming through turns 1 and 2 at this point. Jazzman getting close to the back of Robe at the moment as well in that battle for what's currently P3 on the track. Robe there very deep as they came through turn 4 into 5 we go, and might be vulnerable here to Jazzman. Jazzman might be able to get a run down the back straight. He's kept the momentum there around the outside, and we'll have the inside down the end into the left-hander. Side by side here between the two of them. Jazzman's going to surely make the move here with the inside line. Can Robe holding it around the outside? You can get good grip here for the next corner, but he doesn't manage to do so. Jazzman gets the move done here. Bit of contact there between them. Jazzman just runs Robe out of road there a little bit. Bit of Rubbings racing between them. Jazzman though gets himself into 3rd place. He's 4 seconds behind Tynus, who's continuing to try and chase down Awesome Gumball at this stage. But Jazzman now into clean air. About 5 seconds behind his old rival here. He's trying to chase down the race leader, but who's the net race leader? That's the question. Guido Christ, I think, could be, because he seems to now be getting his tyres up to temperature and is gaining quite a bit on Ludo, who I think is on worn tyres. I think that Ludo didn't change tyres. I believe that Guido Christ has. And Guido Christ, you can see, has taken about a second out of Ludo just in the last couple of the laps here. So now that fresh tyres starting to pay dividends here for Guido Christ. As we see Lol 3000, the latest driver to come in and make his mandatory pit stop here at the end of lap 23. "15 of you currently watching here live on YouTube tonight. If you are enjoying what you're watching, if you want to get involved in the action, please be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. If you're a PlayStation 5 sim racer on ACC, or even at F1 or Project Cars 2, then definitely head over to the Discord server and get involved. We've got plenty of leagues, plenty of options. Always Robe there, very wide, coming out onto the back straight there. Got onto the grass a little bit, that would have lost him time. As we've lost a driver from the session as well. We're down to 15 drivers here. Just checking to see who it was. Or was that already the case before? It was. It's been the case for a while, so I just completely imagined that. Yeah, not quite sure what I saw there. I just thought I saw somebody disappear off the leaderboard, but apparently not. But yeah, nonetheless, PS Vid's now onto the back of Kangi in his battle for P8, so he's bringing himself closer and closer in contention here. So we're coming down towards the chicane again. And Kangi goes a little bit deep there. Can PS Vids get a run? It's through the final section we go. Maybe he can set himself up for a good toad here coming down the start-finish straight. So here we come now. PS Vid's picking up a great toe here. Is he going to look to try and make a move here into turn 1? He's going to look down the inside here. He's going to go late on the brakes here. And he's got that one done here with PS Vid's. Beautiful move there on Kangi up into P8, and yeah, had the straight line speed and had the confidence on the brakes and got it done. In the meantime, Guido Christ is pulling up onto the back of Ludo as well. Just over a second between these two at this point, but Guido Christ has been gaining massive amounts over Ludo over the last few laps. And as I said before, Guido Christ could even be the net race leader here, because he was leading before he came in. Obviously changed tyres and put some fuel in the car, which meant he had a longer pit stop and lost out to Ludo, but should have the pace in the final part of this race. And he's right on the back of Ludo here as they come through the final corner. Is this going to be P6 here for Guido Christ? And He'll become the highest runner of the pit stop drivers so far if he can get this move done. Here he goes, sticking to the inside. Ludo reverts back to the racing line. Is he being a bit defeatist here? Is he giving up on defending this position? Here we go, Guido Chris down the inside here into turn one. Ludo trying to hold it around the outside there. Goes a little bit wide as Guido Chris here keeps it alongside here for turn two. He'll have the inside for three here. Guido Chris is surely going to get this done. Yes, he does. And up into P6 goes Guido Chris, and he is now the highest runner of the pit stop drivers, and potentially into the net race lead. Although saying that, we don't know how quick Awesome Gumball is going to be in the pits. Neither do we with Tynus or Jazzman. So it's all going to pan out over the course of the next 20 minutes. We're into the final third here of this final race of the season here for Tier 1 at Motive here in Indianapolis for the GT3 Championship. Final race of Season 4. Season 5 sign-ups are already out, guys. So if you want to check that out, then be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com and sign up on our Discord server. Plenty to get involved with. We've got the GT3 Championship here, which has got 2 tiers on a Sunday night, and we've also got the Sprint League, which runs on a Wednesday as well, which is just the 1 tier, as we haven't got as much interest in that one. But definitely check that out, guys, if you're around on a Wednesday night as well. Plenty of sim racing for PlayStation 5 users to get involved with, as I said. And in the meantime, Tynus is closing up on the back of Awesome Gumball here, so this is going to be an exciting battle here for P1 potentially. Just under a second separating those two as they come through into the final chicane here. As Awesome Gumball coming into the pits here at the end of lap 25, so well, lap 26 actually. So Awesome Gumball here pulling the trigger, obviously full tanking it. He's not going to be changing tyres at this point, I don't think. It's very unlikely. But Tynus, your new race leader, by 5 seconds over Jazzman. Now where's Awesome Gumball going to come out in relation to Guido Chris? That's going to be an important one here, because Awesome Gumball leading when he came in. Guido Chris was also leading when he came in. Awesome Gumball currently sat in the boxes, so a very long pit lane here, so you can be off the limiter, but you're still going to be a while until you get to the end of the pit lane. Guido Chris is just coming through the middle part of the lap right now. Awesome Gumball's off the limiter and away, but he's got a lot of the pit lane still to cover. He's going to be about 20 seconds until he gets to the end of the pits maybe. But Guido Chris, I don't think is going to get round in time. Here he comes. He's coming into the final sort of chicane bit. Awesome Gumball, still a little way to go until he gets to the end of the pits. Where's Guido Chris? Into the chicane. He's coming out of the chicane. Awesome Gumball just coming towards the end of the pit lane now. Should be off the limiter in about 10 seconds. Where is Guido Chris though? He's coming out onto the start-finish straight at full power. Awesome Gumball is off the limiter and coming into turn 1. So Awesome Gumball here coming through turn 1 on worn-out tyres. Guido Chris down the start-finish straight on his fresh tyres. What's the gap between them though? Can't be that much. Obviously, whatever the gap is, Guido Chris will have fresher tyres in the final part of this race. Awesome Gumball started on the tyres that he's currently on, so won't have as much grip, but it could be a close run thing by the time we get to the end of this race. Awesome Gumball here coming through the sector point. What's the gap to Guido Chris? We'll find out in a few seconds time what the gap is between them. And obviously Guido Chris, or Awesome Gumball should I say, was just ahead of Tynus when he came out. So the gap is just over 9 seconds between Awesome Gumball and Guido Chris. And it should be a similar gap when Tynus comes in. Jazzman will obviously slot in somewhere ahead of Guido Chris, but what sort of chance is he going to have to keep him behind him? So Tynus and Jazzman will come out ahead of Guido Chris, but Guido Chris with those fresh tyres will surely have a chance to pick these guys off at the end of this race. We've probably got, I'd say, about 8 or 9 laps left in this race, so Guido Chris has got to average about a second a lap quicker than Awesome Gumball and Tynus, because Tynus is going to be in a similar position here and will be going for the overcut on Awesome Gumball as well. You can bet on that, as High Grade into the pits here at the end of lap 27. But Tynus, your current race leader at this point. Awesome Gumball and Tynus obviously were running quite close for the lead before Awesome Gumball came in. Both of these two on the same strategy will be running on the same tyres they started the race on, but Gidochrist is on the fresh tyres and will probably have the advantage over both of them in this final stint here. High grade still in the box at this point. Sorry guys, that's pretty duck out for a second there, but back to the action here. We've got Tynus in the house leading the race at this point in the Tier 1 race, obviously coming towards the business end now. He's still yet to make his pit stop. His gap to Jazzman just over 5 seconds at this point. Robe's running in third place. He's about 17 seconds off of the lead. Obviously the main players in this battle though for the race win is going to be Tynus, Awesome Gumball and Gidochrist. We're expecting that Awesome Gumball and Tynus will be quite close when Tynus comes in. Gidochrist is going to be just behind him, but he's on fresh tyres. He's reeling in Awesome Gumball by about 1.5 seconds a lap at this point. I don't think that Awesome Gumball is going to have much defence here from Gidochrist. It's all pretty much now, I reckon, on what Tynus has managed to do on these worn tyres since Awesome Gumball came into the pits. If he's been quicker than Awesome Gumball, he might have a slim chance of being able to defend from Gidochrist, but I would say that Tynus needs to come in quite soon to have a chance of even being able to defend from Gidochrist, because if he comes out behind him, he's not going to have any defence at all, because he's not going to be able to defend from a car that's ahead of him, is he? But Tynus, I would say, his best bet of winning this race is going to be to come in soon and come out ahead of Gidochrist and then have a chance of being able to defend from him. But Gidochrist is a lot quicker than Awesome Gumball at this stage in the race. He's by about maybe even 2 seconds a lap. He's quicker than him at this stage. Or as Gidochrist does hit the wall there coming out onto the banking, onto the start-finish straight, which would have cost him a little bit there. Still managed to match Awesome Gumball in the final sector despite hitting the wall, which I think goes to show how much pace he's got over Awesome Gumball at this point on these fresh tyres. As Tynus here just putting a lap on some traffic. That's Yellow Army there who's just in front of him as they're coming over the line here to start a lap 31. Gap between Awesome Gumball and Gidochrist now under 3 seconds. This potentially the battle for the net lead, but I have a funny feeling Tynus might have jumped Awesome Gumball during the Awesome Gumball's pit stop, obviously because he came in a few laps ago. So I think that Tynus could be a net few seconds ahead of Awesome Gumball, which might mean that Gidochrist will have to pump in a few quick laps here to get the race win, because Tynus, I think, could be the net race leader at this stage. We just don't know at the moment because Tynus is still yet to come in, but I think he could be the net race leader. He's keeping his gap to Jazzman at 5 seconds as well, so I don't think that Jazzman's going to be in contention of this race win. I don't think he's close enough to really be a factor in this one. I think it is definitely between Tynus and Guido Christ and maybe Awesome Gumball. But I think Guido Christ's fresh tyres are going to take him past Awesome Gumball relatively easy here. But we just don't know. I mean, it could be quite different from how I'm speculating, but that's just how I'm reading it at this point. That's how I'm expecting. Guido Christ now well within. I mean, look at that. It says 1.7 on the timing screen. That's way less than 1.7 seconds between these two. You can see that's about 0.6 between them at the moment. When they hit the timing beam, we'll see what the gap is, but that's not 1.7. That's way less than 1.7 seconds. So Guido Christ has taken a huge chunk out of Awesome Gumball just through that section of the track there. 0.4 of a second now between these two. Surely Guido Christ is going to get him coming down the start-finish straight here. Awesome Gumball going very deep into the chicane, and he lets him through. So Awesome Gumball there, knowing that's not his battle, knowing that's not his fight, saying, go on mate, after you. I'm going to take whatever I can get here. I'm going to try and get a podium if I can. If not, so be it. And Awesome Gumball there, very sensible. Guido Christ up into what's P4 currently, but it could be a net race lead with Tynus still yet to pit here in this race. And when is he going to come in? When is he going to pull this trigger? Because I think he could be a net 4 or 5 seconds ahead of Guido Christ, but that gap's only going to be coming down at this point. It's not going to be going up at all because Tynus has got worn out tyres. Guido Christ on his fresh tyres, and most likely here will come out ahead of him. But Tynus here starting lap 33 of the race, and currently with a sizable gap here. Looks like Jazzman and Robe both come in here. Jazzman's come into the box and he's already off and on his way. Robe coming in at the same time. Guido Christ, I think, will come out ahead of Jazzman. He should do, I think. And this will give us a good indication of where actually Guido Christ is in relation to Tynus, should I say. Jazzman's just coming towards the end of the pit lane. Guido Christ now coming out of the final corner. Jazzman's still on the limiter here. Guido Christ now coming over the bricks. Jazzman's off the limiter now. So Guido Christ here. I tell you what, Jazzman might have come out ahead of Guido Christ here, you know. Guido Christ coming into turn 1. Jazzman has come out ahead of Guido Christ. Wow, I was not expecting that. My goodness, in that case, Tynus could have done enough here to get this race win. Robe coming out of the pits here. Is he going to come out ahead of Awesome Gumball? I think he is. So Robe should come out in a comfortable 4th place here. But Jazzman's come out ahead of Guido Christ. And Guido Christ has got much fresher tyres. He should be able to have a crack at Jazzman. But Jazzman's actually got a bit of a gap to him. So Tynus has done absolute bits here. Obviously, he was on the back of Awesome Gumball before Awesome Gumball came in. He gained 10 seconds on Awesome Gumball over the course of those few laps between when Awesome Gumball came in and basically now. He's gained 10 seconds on him. He's done superbly. And, well, Jazzman running in P2 ahead of Guido Christ. He's 4 seconds ahead of him. We're going to have, I think, 2 more laps, including the one that we're currently on. But basically, I think that Tynus and Jazzman could end up 1 and 2 here, which is absolutely unbelievable when you consider the fact that they both started from 16th and 17th places here in this race. Jazzman there running ahead of Guido Christ. Guido Christ will have to pace over him in the last couple of laps. That's for sure. I think we're gonna have 2 more laps in this race from now. So Tynus has already started the penultimate lap. Jazzman coming over here, so let's keep an eye on the gap between Jazzman and Guido Christ, because Guido Christ might have a chance of getting Jazzman at the end here. The gap's 3.5 between Jazzman and Guido Christ. Is that going to be enough? Guido Christ will need to be 2 seconds a lap quicker than Jazzman to get ahead of him. But Tynus, I think, should be able to come out with the race win here quite comfortably. So Tynus is coming into the pits here at the end of lap 36. That now is going to probably promote Jazzman into P1. Or no, sorry, Tynus should come out in P1 ahead of Jazzman, should I say. So he should have enough of a gap here to come out in the lead. Jazzman's now got a gap of 2.6 to Guido Christ. I mean, Guido Christ is bringing that gap down to Jazzman, but I don't think he's going to be able to get ahead of him. I don't think he's going to be able to have enough pace over him to overhaul and overtake him. See the gap coming down now to 2.2, but I think that Jazzman should be alright for 2nd place here in the race. Tynus is now off and away, coming down to enter the pit lane. I'll tell you what, has Jazzman done enough to get ahead of Tynus here? I wouldn't have thought so. But Jazzman's coming out of the last corner. Tynus is just coming off the limiter now, so Tynus has got the lead. Tynus will be able to drive around this final lap and take the race win. Jazzman's gap to Guido Christ 2 seconds here, so Guido Christ took a 1.5 seconds out of him on that previous lap, but we're on the final lap of the race, so Jazzman should be able to hold on here from Guido Christ and bring it home for P2. But Tynus in the house will be taking his 7th win in this GT3 Championship here for Season 4, and it'll be gutted that he didn't take the win last week at Silverstone, because if he did, it would have been a clean sweep of race wins. It would have been 8 from 8, but Jazzman taking last week's race win, jumping in as a reserve for these final 2 races of the season. And Tynus in the house, though, the champion of this season's Tier 1, has had an absolutely superb season, almost a perfect season. He's coming up to lap what would appear to be, I think, Henry, who's just up ahead of him. No, Henry's left the session actually, so it's not Henry. It's Scuderia Paul, so it's not even an Audi, but it's a similar livery. No, it's not even. Is it even? No, it's not even Scuderia Paul. Who is it? It is... don't know who it is actually, to be fair. Oh, it's Kev Sim. the BMW Kessin. But nonetheless, Titus in the house coming into the final chicane here, and it's going to be another win here this season. 7 from 8 wins in season 4 for Motive Racing's GT3 Championship. Our champion of Tier 1 coming out of the final corner here at the Brickyard in the sunset here at Indianapolis. It is going to be a race win here for Titus in the house. A superb job here tonight from the back of the pack, 16th to 1st place. Jazzman's going to make it 2nd place. These two from the back of the pack make it a 1-2. You just cannot stop these guys. Titus and Jazzman doing what they do best. Guido Christ completing the podium here ahead of Awesome Gumball, who will take home 4th place. A great drive from Awesome Gumball tonight. It's going to be Ludo coming around to take P5. Scuderia Paul takes 14th place, a lap down. It's going to be Ludo next over the line to take P5. Robe over in 6th place. Glenn's coming through into the final chicane. Who's going to be next over the line? I think PS Vids might be actually. No, it will be Glenn the next over the line. So Glenn here coming out of the chicane will take home P15 here in this one. As he comes out onto the start finish straight for the final time here to complete lap 37. So, well, actually lap 33 for him. PS Vids comes over to take 7th. Epiphany's coming through the chicane. He's just ahead of High Grade here, so Epiphany will be able to take home 8th place. Not too far ahead of High Grade, who's going to come over to take 9th. So here these guys come. Yellow Army a lap down, P12 for him. Low 3000 takes 13th, also a lap down. Epiphany, High Grade, Kangi coming over to take 8th, 9th and 10th. And the last driver will be Kev Sim to finish the race. He's just coming through the final corner to finish this one in 11th place. And that is all she wrote for season 4. That is that for tonight here at Motive for the final race of the GT3 Championship. Titus, our champion of the GT3s here at Motive on a Sunday, taking the final win of the season. Jazzman in 2nd and Guido Christi in 3rd. Great racing from everybody here tonight. I want to thank all the drivers for tuning in over the course of for racing over the course of the season. I want to thank everybody who's tuned into the streams and commented and kept us company and liked the streams. Guys, you make it worth it, and you make it worth all the effort that I put in. Thanks ever so much for all of the support and all of the kindness. And apologies for not really getting back to the comments tonight. I'm unbelievably tired and I'm really drained and I've got no energy left. Otherwise I would be reading them out. But guys, thank you so much. It really is appreciated. You know, I don't know what I would do if it wasn't for the comms and for the streaming and for you guys who take part in these leagues. I honestly don't know what I'd do without you. So I want to say a massive thank you to everybody for giving me something to do with my life. But thanks guys once again. Obviously we'll see you in the new season. Be sure to sign up at www.motiveracing.com. The sign-ups are already out on the Discord server. Yeah, cheers everybody once again. We'll see you all soon. Take it easy, and yeah, good night.